Abraham Accords were a huge development. Like Trump pulled this thing off, and people hate him so much that they just kind of brush it under the rug. And I remember I wasn't the biggest Trump fan at the beginning either. And when I first saw that, I was like, wow, you got who to sign peace agreements with Israel? Like Bahrain and UAE, and that was unheard of. Like people, the history of the conflict has been, you know, the Arabs and the Muslims just, they hate the Jews, and that's just what it is. And when you start to see these Arabic Muslim countries signing peace accords with Israel, it's a big deal. That was the biggest deal I'd seen in so long, and it just didn't get talked about, right?
Well, it did from a political perspective because, you know, the anti-Trump people were anti the Abraham Accords as well.
But anti-everything Trump.
Right, and I think it's unfortunate because the Abraham Accords did exactly what you said, which was to bridge gaps in the Middle East between Islam and Judaism, between Israel and her neighbors, you know, Arab countries that would never previously think about normalizing relations with Israel solely for the purpose of the fact that if they do that, and if they join the Abraham Accords, then they legitimize the state of Israel.
Yeah, and
those countries did that, and Trump made that happen.
Right, and it's not just the history. That's what people don't understand. You understand the history, like it's like almost like a renaissance in the Middle East and the Arab world, where like this old history has always been the Jews can't be in Muslim lands. Like we have to, the caliphate. But a lot of these Muslim countries are now moving forward, right? They're becoming more prosperous. They're not interested in this old mentality of the Jews and the Christians and we need to take over the world. No, like when people say all Muslims want to do that, that's not true. There is a big, big part of the Muslim community, maybe they're not as vocal. I don't know how big, but a lot of these countries at least, the governments want to move forward. They want to do business. They want to have prosperity. They want the same thing for their kids and families, that they're moving forward. You have Bahrain, you have UAE, and you had Egypt come to the table. Now, the Egypt citizens, where you have a lot of like radicalized Muslims within, but I'm saying the government, Al-Sisi came out and gave a speech to the clerics that was like monumental, saying, listen, stop teaching our kids to hate Jews, to hate Christians. Enough.
Yep.
It doesn't work. We want to move forward. It just brought us pain and wars and suffering. So what was happening is Saudi Arabia was coming to the table. And the other big player in the Middle East is Saudi Arabia. They're arguably behind the scenes, one of the biggest. Qataris are the richest. Saudi Arabia's right there. So they come to the table and you have a monumental shift in the story, right? So I think that Iran would have been very isolated had that happened. And it's and all of a sudden, boom, October 7th happens. Let's shake it all up.